All right, guys, so here is a parallel circuit that has two light bulbs here and here. It has a spot here to connect the battery, which I haven't connected yet, and then switches, which I haven't actually connected like I should have. But I need to start by connecting my battery. I'm going to go ahead and remove these paper clips. I know yours need to pivot. They don't just pull them off like that. But I'm going to connect my battery here and here. And then when I can get these wires out of the way, I don't know. And then whenever I connect my parallel circuit, again, my switches are loose because they're just sitting instead of being connected. But you should be able to turn them on and off if you open or close your switch. That's the whole point. And you should have a master switch as well, which I didn't build in here. But that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this so that you can see how to use this multimeter. So this, they're blue, except for I have one orange one. But this is a multimeter. It has a dial right here, and it has some probes, leads that are attached down here. Right now it's set up to measure voltage. So if you are trying to measure voltage, you would want your red lead in this port on the right where there's a V for voltage, and you want your black lead in this port. It says COM for common. And then you're going to take the two, well, first of all, if I'm measuring voltage, this dial, it's pointing right now at this 20 right here by this V. So that's exactly where I want it to be. And you're going to measure voltage where you have a change. So we can connect it across a light bulb. But I have it touched on either side of my bulb, and you can see my voltage drop. Okay, it does have a negative in front of it. You don't have to copy the negative down. But my voltage drop that I'm getting here it's not constant. And that's also because my switch is not in very good contact. But I'm going to call it around 5. Okay, you can if yours is changing like that where it's not giving you a consistent reading, which may happen, then kind of put what the average is. And so I would say my voltage drop for this bulb is 5, and then you could do the same thing and measure this one. I don't know why it wasn't working a minute ago. I don't know. There, it's working now. Okay. Okay, so guys, you can measure the voltage of the battery by touching these to the two battery terminals. If you just touch your leads to the battery and see if it's actually 9 volts. If it's not a new battery, it might not be. But that's how you measure the bulbs. Now for current, you're going to remove, y'all need to listen. You're going to remove this red wire from this port, and you're going to put it over here where it says 10A. Okay, I'm going to turn it back on, but this is how I'm going to measure current, amps. I have to change the dial though too. I need it to be measuring, instead of voltage, I need it to be measuring current in amps. That's over here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's an A right there. And you're looking for the A that's next to the symbol that has the solid line with the dotted line underneath. That's for batteries. Okay, this right here with the squiggly line, that is like if you were to hook it up in the wall of your house. Okay, that's AC current. We're not doing that. Okay, so you're going to change the dial over here to this 10. Okay, let me show you. This right here where it says 10, and next to this A with the solid line and the dashed line underneath. There it goes. So that's where you're going to hook it up. And again, when you measure current, you have to do so across a gap. This will actually complete my circuit. You'll notice that my bulb isn't lit right now, but as soon as I do this, it will be, because now it's flowing through this device. 0.13. So that's my current through this part of my circuit. Okay, you can also measure the current, across the other gap there, or if you have a main switch, which you should, you can measure it across that. But the easiest spot to measure it is across a switch, because the switch can be open to create a gap. You need to make it flow through this device, so this device needs to bridge that gap. Okay, so that's how you use the multimeter. Again, you can measure current with it. You can also measure voltage with it. You're going to have to move the wire from one port to the other, and you're going to have to change the dial. Okay, so that is how you use this tool. There are also pictures in my slides. Okay, so when you look through the slideshow, you'll see similar illustrations. This is not the same device as the one that I have in the room, but it's the same idea. you'll see 10A, and you'll see the ports, okay, this common and then the one that says A. And so that's where the wiring goes. And then I said this a second ago, but you have to place the leads on either side of a gap. So open your switches when you're measuring current to go through there. When you're measuring voltage, you don't need a gap. You just put it around the bulb, and the bulb does have to be lit in order for you to get your voltage reading. Okay. Anyway, this is where you're going to do your current measurements. I don't think I have the voltage ones in here, but it's the same idea. Okay, total current would be if you measure it across your master switch. Again, you can use 9 volts as your voltage for your calculations, but if you're not getting 9 volts, you might want to use the actual readings so that you have actual calculations. This assumption you can't make if you have bulbs that are different, because I know some of these have green wiring and some are brown. They're not actually the same. So don't assume they're identical unless yours are both green or both brown. Again, make sure that when you draw your schematics, you use the correct symbols that match the circuits that your group built. Use a ruler, put them on a separate sheet, or you can draw them digitally, but there is a spot to upload those. They should look something like that, but you have to add labels to it as well, like this. Okay, so you're going to be labeling your schematics with your following calculated data. So you have to do the calculations today, which means you have to get the measurements today, which means you should have completed circuits today. Okay, the table that you're filling in looks like this, and again, everything is in Schoology, so you should see these tables in there as well. You can fill in your values. If you want to check the slides, you can look back at the ones we just went over for tips on getting your measurements today. But that is what you're doing right now, or should be doing right now, and then you need to make sure everything is submitted by 11:59 p.m. tonight. Okay, so go ahead and get to work, get your measurements, and start working on your calculations. If you have finishing touches on your house, that's fine too.